Welcome to UNCAGED, a show that celebrates thought leadership from today's top business leaders. The program provides a voice to amazing executives from around the globe who are shaping the world of business today and mapping the path to the commerce of tomorrow. Today, we're speaking with Chitra Madhwacharyula. Hey, Chitra, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Bant?
I'm very, very well. I'm excited to learn about what you're working on here today, Chitra. Chitra is the Senior Director of Global Customer Success at Hewlett Packard Enterprise GreenLake. We're going to be talking about the magic of customer success and how to make that happen. But before we get to that, we'll talk a little bit about Chitra's background as well. I'm also keen to tweeze a little bit through some of the other interests that Chitra, that you have outside of Hewlett Packard, some of the work that you've done, obviously, to empower women and the focus on education. But before we get there, Chitra, tell us a little bit about yourself and your career.
Sure, absolutely. So I have spent around 20 years now in the areas of customer success, consulting, professional services, and general customer engagement. I've actually been in this field before the term customer success was even coined. But essentially, my North Star from the very beginning was very clear that how do we work with customers and make sure that they get the maximum value from the products that they're using. And I have essentially built my career around that mantra to where I am today at HPE, where we're really, really focused on making sure that we provide our customers and as a service experience for all across all the HPE portfolio and make sure that they have the best possible experience with us.
Yeah, I mean, it is fascinating. I remember it must have been, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years ago when we were working with somebody and they said, you need to be thinking about customer success and shifting the whole structure around this idea of customer success. And so it has become a philosophy that I truly think has changed the industry, kind of focused on things like making sure that you retain customers, that you expand relationships. And I think that's wonderful. I mean, tell me a little bit more about the nature of what you're doing at HPE and some of the successes that you guys are making happen.
Yeah, sure. So HPE, as you know, it was basically formed 5-6 years back, approximately, when HPE basically split into two different companies. And HPE is at this point is really focused on exposing their entire portfolio of products and solutions in an as-a-service format to our customers, with the goal of making sure that customers have the best possible experience, but also significantly increase their ease of use across our products portfolio. And they also have a usage, and they also pay us based on a usage model, and basically have extreme clarity on what they're paying for, right? I mean, what the consumption looks like and what is the value that they're getting out of their spend. So really, that's the goal. And my role within the worldwide customer success group is to lead our customer success center of excellence. So we have multiple geos, significant number of geos, as we call them, like locations, worldwide locations, where we have our customers and we have our regional organizations. And the goal of a customer success COE is to make sure that we follow the best possible customer success workflow and journey mapping standards. We provide standardization of tools across all the geographies and make sure that whatever experience that our customers are getting, irrespective of their location, is consistent and is according to the expectations of what they would expect from a world-class company like HPE.
Yeah, and it was funny, you talked a little bit like how your whole career has essentially galvanized around this area, and you probably actually have been a key part of evolving that story over the years. I mean, tell me a little bit about your thoughts on customer success in general and how I'd say the discipline has evolved over your career.
Yeah, it's been interesting. So, like I said, when I started my career, there was no formal customer success function. So it used to be part of either professional services. Some companies used to have like a business strategy, business consulting function. In many other companies, sales basically used to do customer success by being relationship managers. So I guess there was an aha moment at some point when companies realized that they have to be proactive consultants to their customers. It's not just enough to react when an issue occurs. So, and they have to build that trusted advisor relationships with the customers, not just focused on sales, but focused on outcomes. And that was really the beginning of the evolution of customer success as a function. And it has come a long way from there. In fact, if we want to define what we call as CS 2.0, that is all about scaling customer success now. It's about CS ops. And in most companies, you will see that CS ops is just a small wing of the overall customer success organization. So you would probably have, some operational managers, and some companies probably have like a bigger CS ops setup. But now I think a lot of companies are seriously looking at, okay, so we have this customer success function, we have some workflows, they're working with customers, it's really effective, it's really helping influence our bottom line, it is helping influence our customer experience and customer loyalty. Now, how do we do this at scale? How do we take it to the next level? And that is an area that is tremendously exciting to me. And I think companies like HPE are definitely leading the charge there. And that's why I'm very excited to be here.
That's great. I love the way that you outlined that definition and the evolution of it, because it's so true. I would say that this topic has become not only central in every company, but that scale question. That scale question is critical. And so that's very exciting. Now, before we kind of move away from everything you're working on right now, I mean, tell me a little bit more about this area that you're doing outside of HPE. I mean, you seem to be very involved and passionate about working to support and empower women, supporting education, especially in the technology space. So tell me a little bit more about the work that you're doing there.
So just to tell you a little bit about my background, I actually come from an academics background. So I've done my master's in computer science from National University of Singapore, and then I did my master's in information management from Berkeley. And research was actually a very, very active component of my education in both the universities. So I've always been very interested in the field of education and, being able to impart the education and whatever my knowledge and experiences to the broader audience to their benefit. So, and specifically around education, I'm really, really passionate about children's education specifically. So I sponsor the education of a couple of children in India, and I've done that for a long time. And I think, especially when you look at developing nations or even, developed nations with regards to how do you go from where you are to a better state, I think education is really, really key to make sure that our next generation has access to the best possible knowledge and resources. And I strongly feel that education is the path for that to happen. So that's definitely an area where I'm involved with multiple initiatives and passionate about. The other area that you mentioned is, women in tech. So I'm also very, very passionate about being a women leader myself to help other women who are interested in leadership roles or who are already there in leadership roles, especially in the tech space, which is the space in which I've pretty much spent my entire career. So to build that community of women tech leaders, so that we can help each other get better and become better leaders as well. And as part of this initiative, I'm actually a founding member of Women Tech Conference. So this is a global conference that we organize every year. And the next one is coming up in June. And I'll be speaking at the conference, but also we have a broad spectrum of leaders from across, really big companies and a lot of different genres. So, if anybody who's listening to this podcast is interested, I would strongly encourage them to learn about the conference and register.
And definitely come. It sounds like it will be spectacular. Well, that's great. I mean, I come from an academic background as well, and I know the passion for education. And Chitra, I wish everyone believed in what you and I do, which is education is so critical, because we need more people to believe in that. But let me change gears a little bit and talk about the last couple of years. So, I mean, I know that you've started at HPE recently, but tell me a little about. I mean, it's been an interesting moment, and a lot of people, I think, did a little bit of soul searching over the last couple of years as we've gone through this pandemic. And tell me about kind of the insights and challenges that you've drawn from the experience, and how is it changing the way you think and work?
Yeah, I mean, COVID definitely has been a game changer in many ways, right? Not only to how we do work on a day-to-day basis, but also, I guess, how we think about life in general. Our priorities, I think, have definitely changed. The focus on family has increased, forcibly or otherwise, just because we are stuck together for so long with only each other's company. Yes, and I think it has really provided an opportunity for us to really reassess what we are doing and get a baseline on, is this really what we want to do, and are there things in our lives that we want to change? So from that perspective, specifically around career, it has been really interesting for me. Before HPE, actually, I had joined my previous company right at the beginning of COVID. And that was an interesting move, because I spent my entire duration in that company basically meeting a handful of people a handful of times.
Right.
Did that reduce my effectiveness? It did not, actually. Interestingly, I think it probably really did not impact my productivity, or maybe even improved it a little bit, because I had more time to focus on the actual work.
Right.
I mean, it definitely was not ideal in terms of getting more face-to-face time with people and networking and all that good stuff. But what I've learned out of that whole experience is that human beings are highly adaptable creatures, right? We have this ability to really adapt to whatever gets thrown at us. And that is really and make the best of it, I should add. And that's really our core strength, and something that we should recognize in ourselves and really appreciate.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. And I've been amazed at the adaptability of people. I've also, I think, kind of marveled at the achievements that have occurred in such a short time, and the ability to rethink and change. And hopefully, I think, from my perspective, I hope that we kind of hold on to some of the good changes and that have been made here. But let's focus a little bit more short term now and look at 2022. I mean, it's a year where we're starting to see a lot of shifts again, and things are opening up again. Certainly, lovely challenges on the economic front as well. But tell me a little bit about what you see 2022 looking like for the rest of the year.
Yeah, so I recently joined HPE, so 2022 definitely, I think, is going to be a really exciting year for me as we flush out our center of excellence and really build it out, like I said, across all the different HPE geos. So work-wise, I'm really expecting some really exciting times. Also, with travel opening up and hopefully, COVID numbers reducing or at least getting stagnant, I'm expecting to get some face time with many of our customers, and that is always extremely recharging for me. It's very, very informational, but it also definitely helps me get recharged and excited about my work. So looking forward to doing a lot of that as well.
Yeah, and I guess the nature of your role, it will be global, right? It'll be worldwide. So.
We are exactly. Because it is very, very important to understand your customers, right? What their motivations are. I mean, you might be building all the best processes in the world, but how will they cascade into how your customer success managers will be using those processes to work with your customers? It's important to have that understanding at a global level. So Definitely looking forward to that. Also looking forward to more networking opportunities with more in-person conferences, get-togethers, and things like that as well.
I've been told there's an amazing conference coming up in June.
Well, yes, but that is a virtual conference because it's a global conference.
Okay.
So the Women Tech Conference is a virtual conference. It's a 24-hour global conference, interestingly. We have speakers because across the globe, so we have different sessions based on different geographies.
Oh, very cool.
Yes, so it's a virtual conference right now, but we do have follow-up in-person meetups and networking opportunities and things like that.
Excellent. Well, listen, Chitra, it's been amazing to talk to you today. If someone wanted to learn a little bit more about what you're working on at HPE GreenLake on the customer success side, where should they find you?
They can find me on LinkedIn. So they can feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I will be happy to respond.
Great. Well, we've been having a wonderful conversation with Chitra Madhwacharyula. She is the Senior Director for HPE GreenLake in the area of worldwide customer success. We've been talking about the evolution of customer success, and really, I would say the emergence of customer success as being kind of a critical area that businesses are focused on and seeing as the lifeblood of what they're doing as they start to expand, and most critically, thinking about it from a scale perspective. So Chitra, thank you so much for your thoughts. Look forward to having you back on Uncaged in the future.
Thank you. This was wonderful. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.